and I'll never sit here and tell anybody that the police are always right and that we don't, we have done some self-inflicted damage to our, our profession as a whole. Whether it's a nationwide event or local. Some of that's deservingly so, the less trust that has kind of changed over the years. And so one of the big things that I've noticed over the last 20 years is, and this is including the Alton Police Department, is like our profession as a whole has become more professional. There were things in 2005 when I hired on that I was like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the way that we're doing this. I don't like the way.
Can you name any specifics for us?
It was a lot of, I won't name names or anything, but it was a lot about the way we were interacting and treating people.
Yeah.
And a lot of it wasn't even, it wasn't outrageous behavior, but it's like, why are we talking down to people, in situations where it just doesn't, it was so unnecessary. But I'm actually thankful that I got to see that, because I feel like it was sometimes you can learn more from like what not to do than you can any other method. And that was kind of what I saw. Like, I'm never going to be that guy. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to speak to people like that. And so I'm in a way, like, even though it's growing pains, I'm glad I got to witness some of those officers that had a little bit of an old school police mentality.
All right. Hey, so we have a really wildly important guest today. We have the police chief of the city of Alton, Jarrett Ford. And whenever we booked you, we were not expecting things to be as tumultuous as they are now. Yeah. We'll get to that in a bit. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand you're a hometown guy?
I am. I'm born and raised here in Alton. Went to school, Alton High. Only time I've ever truly left was for the 4 years that I went to college and came back, and I've been here ever since. In fact, this very street where we're at right now was my paper route when I was a kid from probably, I think I started at 10 and ended it when I was like 16. So I used to fall down this hill frequently in the ice and snow delivering the telegraph. Many years ago.
I miss paper boys. That's just old timey.
Yeah, I used to come into this house actually to collect the payment for the telegraph, because the paper boys used to do that too.
Didn't they do a great job on it?
It looks great. And my sister happened to live a few doors down, so I was here quite often in the last 5-6 years. But she's since moved. So
wow.
Yeah, I got a lot of connection to this little area. My first girlfriend lived 3 houses up there, so it's definitely a hometown thing for me. I still live in Alton. I have zero intentions of going anywhere. Honestly, I love it. I know that we've got our issues.
We do.
But for me, I just love Alton. Like,
completely understand that too.
The only motivation, really, truly, like that I have at this point in my career is I just want to try to make things better where I can. I'm not looking to change the world by any means, but I just feel like, man, we've got these issues. We could try this or we could try that to try to make it better for everybody. And so really, when I go to work each day, I don't have any personal like career aspirations left. They're more community aspirations and just wanting to leave it better than when I started and how I found it. So.
Is that why you're a cop?
Yeah, it's a long story. How I don't know how much.
Oh no, we have as much time as you want.
I'm going to talk,
yeah.
but
like you
I was going to ask. Like,
yeah,
I mean, you've
I kept
20 years, right?
Yeah, I've been on the police department for 20 years and been chief for a little over 2.5 now. I did not grow up thinking that I was going to be a police officer. I honestly, truly never.
Wasn't a childhood. Cops and Robbers wasn't your favorite game?
Not at all. Not
What about
at all.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
Man, I'd get down with that.
Okay. Was not expecting that answer, but I like that. All right.
So I went to, like I said earlier, I went to college. I ended up actually getting a economics and finance degree.
Okay.
And I graduated started a job in the finance field, and I just knew right away, like, man, I can't do this my whole life. This is not fulfilling. This is not fun. I gotta find anything besides this. And so probably about 4 months into that job, that's when I started to realize, like, okay, well, let's get out of here. I looked through the Telegraph at the time on my lunch break, and I saw that the Alton Police Department was hiring, and I thought, man, I have never thought about being a police officer. I don't even know what they do, but anything has got to be better than what I was doing at the time. So I kind of applied on a whim, thinking, they probably won't hire me. I don't know the first thing about being a police officer. So fast forward about 2-3 months after that, they've done a background check on me. They call and they're like, yeah, we want to offer you a job. And I actually told them, I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm being honest, like I've told you guys, I don't know anything about policing. I know the city, and I know that, and that's helpful. And they're like, all we need is who you are. We can train you and get you to what we need you to be. So I signed on and went to the police academy, came back, was in what we call our field training program, where you're partnered up with an experienced officer who's teaching you how the Alton way is done. And it's just been the one thing I knew is, like, the first night I worked, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it.
A little thrill seeking. Is it exciting? Was it exciting to be like, what is it, a beat cop? I don't know. I watch SVU. Yeah. I really like Law and Order SVU.
Right. So patrol is what we call it. Patrol cop, patrol officer. That's where I started. And the one of the things that I knew right away, like I said, that first shift is like, oh yeah, this is it. I'm talking 30 minutes on the job. We get a call of a domestic situation between a man and a woman, and
those are dangerous,
very dangerous calls.
Yeah, those are like the worst ones for you guys.
It can get really volatile. There's, when you got the emotions involved in it, it can turn pretty violent. So we get there to this house. The door is standing open when we get there, and some of the experienced officers that were training me started kind of calling out to have somebody come outside. Nobody would come out. So we continue to walk towards that open door. I'm assuming we're gonna go inside or at least peek our head in and yell and see if anybody will come out. So we get about 20 feet from that door, and this pit bull comes running straight at us. And it isn't coming to greet us in a friendly manner, like,
oh no.
So I see the other experienced officers pull their gun out.
Don't shoot the dog.
So I thought, okay, I guess I better pull my gun out.
Oh no. No.
This is where it's great. It does not have a bad ending.
Look at her.
This dog is, of course, of all the people, it's charging directly at me, the new guy. So it gets about 5 feet from me, and I don't know what happened. I always attribute it to some higher power, but that dog stopped and took off running the other way, and I never saw it again. And I was so thankful that it did not attack me. Because I mean, how horrible would it be to? Well, one, it's not. I
think if shooting your dog was the first night, you might have changed your mind.
Yeah, I know. Like, but something happened, and that dog just stopped and took off, and I just couldn't believe. I was like, oh, thank God. I did not want to start my
One of your angels
career.
had a piece of beef in
Absolutely.
And then I know you were a detective because whenever I was an intern at the Telegraph, one of my first assignments was talking about you doing guns and hoses.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So
I did.
That's the boxing match between police and
fire. And
do you still do that? Is that still going?
No. It's still an event, and they do it every year on. I think it's the night before Thanksgiving. But I stay away from it.
Okay.
I'm old now. And
okay.
I don't need any business in it.
You're still pretty jacked, though.
Well, but that doesn't mean I'm not old.
Okay, that's fair.
Reflexes get poor.
Yeah, you slow down. I've slowed down, and I just don't think that's my cup of tea.
So, Nicole, whenever you first moved here, didn't you have an experience with the Alton PD?
Yes, the first
that you wanted to talk
probably
about?
Way too many, but my first experience was actually you guys helped a girl out. Me and my ex were on vacation in Colorado, and my house got robbed. And I had to wait a few days after we got back, and I happened to have a piggy cop picture in my living room. And so when I spoke to him on the phone, when they came to see the house, I was just like, you know what? I'm sorry about that painting, but like, please find who did this. Yeah.
So a pig head with a cop hat?
Yeah.
Do you remember that kind of stuff often?
Body. He's in a full uniform.
Everybody.
But and actually that brings me into actually one of my first questions. Over the years, I'm sure you noticed in society we've had, shifting, was it what used to be very much trust police officers?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I follow you.
And so sometimes I talk fast.
How have you transitioned from Mayberry to ACAB?
Sure. Got it.
Yes, that was what I was trying to say.
There we go. From Andy Griffith to ACAB.
I'll be the first one to tell you that this job, it's a job, just like any job, right? You have humans that are going to make mistakes. We're not perfect. There's stuff we screw up each and every day, but I always for myself and the others is, all right, we can make mistakes. Most of them can be fixed. Most of them we can, train and get better at, and we won't make that same mistake twice. So I'm a realist in that I don't believe that, and I'll never sit here and tell anybody that the police are always right and that we don't, we have done some self-inflicted damage to our profession as a whole, whether it's a nationwide event or local. So some of that's deservingly so. The less trust that has kind of changed over the years, and I'm just the thing I know is this, and I have the inside show, right? Like I'm inside. I see what we're doing. I see what all the officers are doing, and I know that there is good in that. And for me, it's a matter of getting that message out there better, because I don't feel like a lot of people, I just don't think they know what we're actually dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I don't think they know how sometimes we might have a great solution, but other times there's just nothing that there's just nothing we can help with at that moment, and it's a tough thing to do, because I do believe that most of the people that go into law enforcement actually do want to help. They want to make things better.
Have you guys implemented policies within the department to help keep officers accountable?
Oh, for sure. So one of the big things that I've noticed over the last 20 years is, and this is including the Alton Police Department, is like our profession as a whole has become more professional. There were things in 2005 when I hired on that I was like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the way that we're doing this. I don't like the way.
Can you name any specifics for us?
It was a lot of, I won't name names or anything, but it was a lot about the way we were interacting and treating people.
Yeah.
And a lot of it wasn't even, it wasn't outrageous behavior, but it's like, why are we talking down to people, in situations where it just doesn't, it was so unnecessary. And you just start to see that. But I'm actually thankful that I got to see that, because I feel like it was sometimes you can learn more from like what not to do than you can any other method, and that was kind of what I saw. Like, I'm never going to be that guy. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to speak to people like that. And so I'm in a way, like, even though it's growing pains, I'm glad I got to witness some of those officers that had a little bit of an old school police mentality. Nice. And I feel that now there's just more of it's just more professional. We're not that we still don't talk down to people every now and then or say stupid things. Again, we're human, but I just feel like as a whole, or at least with the people I'm working with, like, there's a respect thing. They know that they're there to do good, to try to help people when and where they can. And I don't know. I just see it from the inside where I'm like, man, we're actually helping people, and we're doing good things, and a lot of it goes unnoticed and unrecognized, but we're also most of us are not in the business to be recognized for that. We just want to do it and help people, and we don't need any special notoriety or any coverage of it by any means. So
you're getting it today.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and then this is part of that is like, I don't I don't like talking publicly. I'm, I still get nervous when I have to give a presentation. Like Monday night, I gave a presentation at the public hearings for the liquor licenses, and
we're gonna get to those.
Yeah, well, I won't go into that, but I get the nerves. I get a little worked up, but the more I do it, the better I get at it, and I'm learning each and every day. So trying to be better.
Before we get to the first break of a few, do you think that cops get a lot of flack for other aspects of our criminal justice system, like prosecutors, like judges, like mandatory sentences, like the war on drugs? Like, do you think cops get a lot of flack for what happens beyond your control?
Yeah, I think,
because I've noticed that
we get lumped in as one.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the police and corrections and prosecutors, and it's like, yes, we're all intertwined with the work that we do, but I don't have any control over how the state's attorney's office handles a case. Even though it's our case and we investigated it, once it's charged, it becomes theirs, and they do, for the most part, like they do a great job. But there's times where I'm like, I wish we could have done a little bit better on this, or we could have gotten a little bit more of a punishment for somebody, because I feel that certain people deserve it. I am not one of those people that thinks like we should just lock everybody up for low-level offenses or petty crimes. In fact, I'm the exact opposite. I think you should try to help them and give them alternatives, whether that's through the court system or outside the court system.
So, all right. So a lot of the diversions and a lot of alternatives, like, we talked to Megan from Sacred Spaces of Care, and she spoke very highly about the work with the police department. And that brings me to a few questions. First of all, do you encourage therapy within officers?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a backstory on this, but I believe it was December of 2018, we had an officer involved shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of our officers got hurt. Actually run over by a car during it.
I remember that.
So it was. I mean, any event like that is traumatic, and again, we're humans. So what we ended up doing at that time was we sent them to what they call the EAP, Employee Assistance Program, which none of us really knew what the heck that was, what it consisted of, but we sent them because we felt like we needed to do something for them. So the officers come back, and at the time I was the chief of detectives, and part of my duties then was to do like an after action report and give recommendations on what we could do better from there. So when I talked with them, they told me that going to the employee assistance program actually made things worse for them.
Oh.
They felt like talking to someone who didn't have any law enforcement experience, who didn't know the incident, who just didn't feel like they could relate with that person, and they didn't feel comfortable opening up. Well, anybody that's been through therapy knows that
Mm-hmm.
what you get out of it is kind of what you put into it, right? Like
right.
The more open and honest you are, the more they can help, and it helps you to get that off of your chest. And so the one thing I said is like, okay, well, you just went through a horrific event and we made it worse. And that's not what we want to do. So what can we do to fix that? And so around 2019, 2020, I was in charge of our jail at the time. But I had a little extra time. So I would do these little side projects. And one of them was what is now known as the Healthy Minds program. And ultimately what that was it was an incentive-based program for officers to go to therapy. And if they went so many times voluntarily in a year, we would give them like time off, like a mental health day off kind of thing.
Cool.
I love
Wish
that.
my job did that.
Yeah.
So, I have to call off.
Yeah. At the time, though, convincing these police officers that therapy could help and that it's okay to go, the attitude around it was real hesitant. They feared if they go, they could lose their job, and I'm like, listen, that's not what this is. Obviously, if you're, homicidal or suicidal, like we need to address that. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, just the talking to somebody about being through a traumatic incident is going to help you. We ended up, I convinced at the time, I think it was Polito, who was the assistant chief, that he should let me run with this. And then he did, and we sent it out. And then what we did to kind of get buy-in was Polito and I both went ahead, and we were the first ones to go. We went to therapy first. We tested it out. We came back, and so that way we could at least speak on what we experienced and whether or not we felt it was helpful to us and that it could be helpful to others.
Leading by example.
There you go. So that helped with a lot of the buy-in. Fast forward through the years to today, we've expanded it now to not only the officers, but to our retired officers, to our the wives and children of our officers.
Okay.
So
That's what I'm talking about.
It's expanded
good
over
stuff.
the years, and honestly now, it's like, I mean, it's just like, almost everybody at the police department believes in it and knows that it's got value. I've seen it copied and replicated pretty much across the country at this point. I've had people from East Coast, West Coast call me and like, hey, how'd you do this? And eventually it got to be so many inquiries that I just put together a presentation and made a PowerPoint and said, I'll send it to you. Here you go. And then I would start getting, the emails or thank you letters, 6 months later, like, hey, we did this. It's awesome. I'm like, that's great.
So
like,
what are those results that you've seen from that?
So, like I say, I'll just be real open and honest. Like, I've gone even beyond the initial time, I still go. For me personally, it's like having somebody that now I know and I have a relationship with, and I'm comfortable telling her anything about whether it's work, personal life. It doesn't matter. It's just a good release, a good outlet.
Yeah. I mean, we both go.
She gives.
Love therapy.
and, like,
Love it.
I do think. So like, I don't want to sit here and tell you like therapy is always the answer for everybody. I think that you got to find your person, and you might not find that with the first person that you go see.
Always shop around for therapists.
Yeah, so like, I don't think it's if you find it right out of the gate, you're really lucky.
Corey recommended this lady to me one time, and the intake, she commented and told me I was fat, and I was like,
what?
yes, I told you about that.
Oh yeah, you
Great
did.
Yeah.
I have a
recommendation,
brand new
Corey.
one. I have
Dude,
a brand new therapist.
She also had weight. Like, I love crystals, but you can't be having too many crystals and witchy stuff when I'm trying to talk to you about therapy. We need a balance. We need a balance.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Completely understand.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got a new one
But
out
yeah,
of Joliet Telehealth. It's great.
Yes, I love it, but yeah, not
Shout
every.
out Brooke.
Sometimes you got to shop around.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't want to sit like to my officers. I don't tell them like, oh, this is the answer. It's going to help you for sure, because there might not be a good match right out of the gate. But I do encourage them, like, don't just settle and try one time and go, oh, it didn't work. Give it some time. Go to somebody different. If you didn't vibe with that person, go check out somebody else and see if you feel better with them. And so yeah, it's been pretty cool to see from its infancy and to what it is today. And
I mean, as a guy who's plugged in to a lot of things, good and bad, people don't complain about you guys as much lately.
well, knock on wood.
Yeah,
Not about like that.
Yeah, not about that. Like,
yeah.
I don't get like all
Yeah.
these cops are dicks. I don't get that.
No,
I used to
had
get
a lot
that. I
of
don't get
experience
that.
with you
Honestly-
guys last year, and you guys honestly handled it. Okay as the situation
Yes.
was
I
allowed.
can dig it.
So-
But like that brings us to the other part of Sacred Spaces of Care, the unhoused outreach. Recently, we had that tragic news that body found off Paisaw was
Yeah.
identified as an unhoused woman.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of unhoused people in Alton. I mean, and you guys don't really have anything to do with the economic conditions driving
Right.
homelessness right now. But how is it that you deal with this growing amount of unhoused people? A lot of them are mentally ill, addicted to drugs. And Megan gave us a little rundown, but like from
Yeah.
your perspective, like what challenges does it bring? And
Um,
how do you deal with it compassionately?
yeah, well, I don't, I mean, honestly, personally, I don't struggle with the compassion side of it. Like,
Right,
I'm a human, they're a human. If I can help, I will.
right.
So it's a subject that I don't feel the police department can solve, right? Like it's
Right.
not a one, like we're not the answer, but we can be part of the answer, and that's kind of the approach that I've taken, and that's where the partnership with Sacred Spaces and Megan. It didn't start to be that with specifically like addressing the unhoused, but obviously when her focus was to help people with struggling with substance abuse and mental health.
And that
So,
goes
but
hand in
they
hand.
tend to go
Yeah.
hand in hand often with our unhoused. So it's like a natural. It just kind of turned into that. But it's been a great partnership. She's Megan's wonderful, but she's got staff like social worker on her staff, and the coolest thing to me is I will see people that I know from that are living unhoused and out on the street, but then I'll see them in our little community room with Stephanie, the social worker, and like I don't interject. I don't want to know what they're doing. I try to keep the police department and all that out of it because I want them to feel comfortable and I want them to feel safe. But it's so awesome when I do walk by, I'll hear a little glimpse of like them just doing them, like even like just small stuff, like they're on the phone with like an 800 number trying to help them pay a bill. They're trying to help them get an ID. They're trying to get them housing. They're helping them fill out job applications. They're doing all these cool things that you would never think that, even though it's not the police department, but like it's kind of how like it came to fruition, because without partnering up and without some of the funding that I was able to get through a grant, I don't know that we would have been able to do what we're doing right now. So
Well, I mean, to protect and serve, and that is
it's
serving.
the
So
serving
that is
part for
serving.
sure. It really is. And just like I said, the coolest thing is just to walk in there and just kind of eavesdrop of what's going on. And then I go, oh, that's awesome. And then I just go back to my office and I'm like, hell yeah.
And you guys have the Narcan as well.
Yeah, we put a Narcan dispensing machine in our lobby. And people are like, well, do you really think people are going to come to the police department to like, I don't care if they do or don't, but at least it's there.
Yeah.
If they need it, it's right there. Come get it. And so, yeah, I'm all about that.
Also, people who are in addiction might not, but their loved ones might, and that might save their lives,
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
I see people, I don't obviously sit there and watch it, but I see people all the time come in and grab it, and I'm like, cool. So one of the kind of I might get a little bit emotional on this, but I had a friend, and he ended up passing away due to an overdose a couple years ago, and just prior to him, probably about a month before he passed away, I knew he was struggling, so I just mailed him some Narcan from the machine, and I know for a fact that he got it because I saw his mom and she thanked me, but then I also know that they used it when he was overdosing and it saved his life, and so like, even though he ended up passing away about a month after that, it's like, I see the value in like I just helped save my own friend's life at least at one time, and I wish like hell I would have, I guess, sent more. If I would have known that they needed it, I would have sent it. So I got a little bit of regret that I'm like, I should have sent more, or should have.
I heard about that through one of his friends, actually. That's something I knew about you that coming into this. I did a little intel because I was like, there's no way this guy's as cool as he seems. Because,
I'm definitely
you're
not.
a cop. but like, I dug a little bit. I talked to some people and they were like, oh no, he actually like mailed this guy Narcan. And I was like, oh, so he actually like gives a fuck. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, shit. Wow. That's wild. Wow. Okay. I mean, I thought you were cool from the way that the some of the other things that we've talked about have gone, but I have heard about that from another person. So I'm very sorry that happened.
Yeah, we're very sorry for your loss.
Like, I mean, losing people to addiction is awful.
We probably all have somebody at this point that we know or was
this
family.
Point, yeah.
So
my mom died of a heroin overdose. So my only memory of her.
Right.
Oh, shit, dog.
Okay, that got dark, but no.
Not a great memory.
No, not at all. But it means
Yeah.
I'm a lot more compassionate
I get
to,
it.
you know,
I get
like
it.
reading Facebook comments. I actually got into it with some troll in the comments, but you know, everyone is like,
you can't go to the comments.
No, never.
You gotta stay out of the comments.
Never, because
just-
well, most people's attitudes is,
I know.
oh, just you know, it's just gonna make them be able to use again. And I'm like, but it also
Yeah.
can make them like be able to make that choice to not use again. We just have to keep people alive long
Right,
enough for
right.
them to make that
Well,
choice.
The one thing that I was naive to this, but I see it now is like some people just aren't ready,
No, yeah.
and you can't force it on them.
Mm.
And so it's easy for somebody that doesn't realize that, like, well, why don't you just get help, or why don't you get sober? It's like it's not that easy.
No.
Like people are going through a lot of things,
Mhm.
and it's not just as simple as like, well, go to rehab.
Mhm.
If they're not ready and they're not in that space where they want to do it, like it's not going to be successful most of the time.
And
So-
I did hear that Narcan is difficult to use on some people because of benzos. I hear they're mixing benzodiazepines in with like opioids, and that makes
Yeah.
Narcan not as
effective.
viable because benzodiazepines do not react to Narcan.
Right.
Is that true? Is that a
It's-
problem we're experiencing? Because
I haven't. It's like it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
tell because you don't really when you're there, you don't know.
Yeah,
what
you
they're
don't know what's
overdosing
on. You don't
so,
know what's in there.
So I don't know that I can truly speak to that, but I have heard the same thing, and
Yeah.
I do know they were trying to come up with something else for the
benzos.
The benzos. So and whether or not it has, I don't know. So,
All right.
but-
All right. So I think it's time we take our first break, and then we'll come back for gun violence.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Such fun topics.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So light.
Hey Nicole.
What's up?
So you notice in our video with Chief Ford that the lights are all flickery behind you?
Oh yeah, we definitely need something like new equipment, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so because the phones that we use to film this, they got a new update. And I don't know if you know this about new updates, but they're bullshit because of planned obsolescence, which keeps us continuously throwing our things away to buy new things.
One
and
would think an update would improve the functionality of something, but not.
we live in
not
the
a thing.
stupidest fucking economy. Anyways, the point of it is we need new cameras. And in order to get those under late stage capitalism, that means we need money. So if you want to subscribe to our Substack, it's $8 a month. You get behind the paywall sections like Sunken Secrets, which we got Bigfoots, we got Giants, we got Aliens. I reviewed the Puddle of Mud album. They're coming to town.
That was great.
Yeah, my therapist says it was self-harm, and I booked an extra session this week. Anyways, all right, so we're back from the break, and we have Alton Police Chief Jarrett Ford, and now we have to talk about the most timely topic of the hour, which is gun violence in Alton.
Yeah.
We've had 2 shootings. One of them was covered by Mad Cat. Well, 2 murders, a couple of shootings, though, because there was a shooting downtown. Didn't that person get hit in the hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what's up with the gun violence in Alton going on right now?
I wish I had the answer to that. It's. I'll start. I want to start with this, but we had a 17-year-old Shabria.
Yeah, tragic,
That was
awful,
shot and killed, and I, that you look at that one, and I obviously there's some things I can't go into because it's still a active
ongoing
We
investigation.
understand.
but it's, knowing what I know, I just don't understand why our young people are just how they're armed. Where did they get the gun? Why is it so seemingly so easy now for younger people to get firearms? And 2, like, what's going through his mind to think that this could just randomly shooting a gun is going to end up well? It never does. I don't know if you're a firearm guy or
Enthusiast.
not. But what do they always they always say? Know your target, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's like, man, when you're just randomly shooting, bad things can and in this case do happen. And I just feel, I don't know her family well. I know of them, and I've met them a few times in the past. But like, I can't imagine losing a child.
No.
I've got one son. Even the thought of just losing him, I have no idea how I would function anymore. So I kind of just try to put myself in as much, obviously I'm not experiencing what they're experiencing, but just try to think about it from their viewpoint of like, how horrible is it to lose a kid? And I look at it like in a couple of different ways. One, I'm really super thankful for the team that I have around me because they did a great job on that case, and they do a great job investigating all of our violent crime, really. I mean, you and I had a text conversation that weekend, and they're just so dedicated to just to getting justice, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's July 4th. It doesn't matter if they just worked a 12-hour shift and now they went home for an hour, but now they have to come back and work, another 12 hours, because that's what some of them did.
Jeez.
And so they're just super dedicated, and if when I get a chance like this, I always want to make sure they know and hear that I am so thankful for them and what they do. They are truly difference makers in this community, a lot of which you don't realize because they're just behind the scenes doing their thing. And so I'm super proud of them. I hate that we had to investigate that. I wish it never would have happened. But from a police standpoint and a law enforcement standpoint, I am so impressed by them and how awesome of a job they did and how quickly they did it.
I was not expecting charges that fast. I was genuinely shocked and horrified at the ages of the alleged shooters because they're just kids themselves.
I mean, even though the law says, an 18-year-old is an adult.
They're not. I don't even think a 20-year-old's really an adult. I don't think you're an adult till you're like 21.
I'm not sure what age I'm not even sure if I've ever matured. So
I'm definitely not an adult.
Yeah.
I have an almost 18-year-old, and he's nowhere near an adult.
That's true. But like... So that has to be tragic to like see these kids and like know that they're about to go into the criminal justice system, which is more punitive than rehabilitative.
Yeah, it is. And the thing about the system, if Will, is like we do send people away, right? And they're locked up, but we're like a lot of the times when they're released, they didn't get any help in there. They come back to the same environment that led them to trouble to begin with, and we somehow expect that they're gonna, just magically be better or do better. It doesn't work like that. Like, you have to, you gotta give them some resources, some assistance, both while they're there and after they get out.
Do we have that on like ways for people who are coming out of the prison system to get back on their feet? Like, I've met a few people who have done that. Like, I've been talking to like a few people in Oakwood that are running like the Fly Mentorship program.
Right. Good stuff.
And like, I was talking to Don Mason, and I know he's had a past like that, and he comes out and he's like, I want to teach these kids, and we're trying to get him on in a few weeks.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah. So just after the shooting, like, one thing I've learned is a lot of the people in Oakwood, like a place that we look down on because they're low income housing or whatever, and it's and they're black mostly, which is a big problem for some crazy people, especially in the Facebook comment section. But it's like,
love the race in there.
God, they do. But one thing, like, I learned a lot about James Killian from Mr. Barham, and Killian brought Oakwood into Alton. And just seeing his legacy as one of like integration and community, to me, is like a good way to help end gun violence, like reaffirming the bridges of community. And I was just wondering if like there's any programs in place with the police to help do that, to like assist people already doing the work.
Right. So, yes, there's a variety of different things. I'm going to start though with this just because it kind of deals with sacred spaces and Megan. And so she's probably going to kill me for this because it's not official. But it looks as though we're going to get a grant that helps basically continue our partnership for another year. But it also brings in a segment of trying to help people that have been released from prison.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Obviously, we are not experts in that. It's not like something I'm well versed in by any means. So I'm going to rely on her a lot and her staff. And then we're also going to hire somebody like a Donald Mason that has like that lived experience that they've been through, whether it's addiction or whatever. So we're going to add another person to our crew of people that are doing good for the community.
I mean, he might be the guy to hit up for that.
Well, Don does a lot of great things out there with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, and there's others. We've got a program. It's called Brand New Village that I was able to get a grant and get some funding to help that community program. But basically, what it does, it takes kids anywhere from I've seen 8-year-olds all the way up to 16. And just every meeting, it's a different lesson on whether it's communication or just something to help kids that they might not get in school. There's not a lot of classes geared towards communicating well, conflict resolution. So just those types of things. And then they also go into teaching them, you're going to love this, how to garden.
I do love gardening. Yeah, my wife and I do have a garden. She runs the native pollinator garden at Haynard. So
I don't know if you're looking for an opportunity to connect with an organization in the community, but you would love that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would. It's just like a vacant lot that we bought that we seeded, and it's a little overgrown sometimes. Like we work a lot, so it's hard to maintain it all the time. We would love more volunteers. I think Alton Yard Farms is actually coming out tomorrow and laying down some tarps to start some stuff out in our stuff. So, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a couple of the different things that are in the works, if you will. And my thing is a lot of the people in the community want to do good, but they don't know where to go for like funding and how to get it started. And so that's kind of where I've, even though it's probably not something that a lot of chiefs do, but like I am all over those grants, and if any money I can get to help people achieve good things in the community, I'm applying. They can tell me no, and that's happened, but like if you don't try, you don't know. And so one of the things that I'm proud of is giving these organizations that opportunity to get off the ground and get rolling and help kids. So that's kind of a cool aspect behind the scenes of community, if you will.
Oh, absolutely.
So, in my own small way, obviously, I wish I could bring in millions. And I think if it was my full-time job, I only did grants for the city of Alton, I could bring in a lot of money and a lot of good things for the city.
I hope more people have that outlook. What about, so I've been fielding a lot of people's suggestions about how to decrease gun violence, and they've got some interesting ones. Like gates at Oakwood and Alton Acres. How do you feel about that? Is that something on your radar?
Well, yeah. Actually, just yesterday we had a meeting with Alton Housing Authority where we proposed a couple of pages worth of things that we thought could potentially help lessen some of the problems in Oakwood and Alton Acres.
Were they receptive?
Yeah, they were.
Cool.
Obviously, kind of like going back to the money thing, is sometimes like a lot of the things that we presented do cost quite a bit, and I don't expect them to just have that kind of money laying around. But what I would like to see is that, well, maybe we just start with this because we have money for that now, but we budget or we try to find grants to get the other stuff. And they were very open to that, very receptive, and it's not as though they haven't done anything. They just put in new cameras out in Oakwood, and so it's they get a little bit of a bad rap for that because everybody says, oh, they're not doing anything. They are, but there's obviously more that we can do and that we should. I'm a big believer that we gave them suggestions like gates, fencing, but here's the thing, and I told them this, is we have to be careful of this because have we checked with the people who actually live there?
Yeah.
Do they want these things? Do they feel like it could help, prevent problems and make it safer out there? Because the example I gave them was I wouldn't want someone just coming to my house and putting up a fence in my yard without telling me. And why would we do that to them? It doesn't, that's their home. So I'm not, so as much as I do believe that some of the issues could be lessened with gates. That way you keep non-visitors that are just there to do, shenanigans out. But I don't think it solves everything. None of the suggestions we presented are always going to prevent everything. They're just deterrents and will lessen the issues that are experienced out there. And quite honestly, I don't care who lives out there. I don't care if you're white, black, low income, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What does matter is that everybody out there can feel safe, because everybody deserves that in their own home.
Yeah.
And I don't, these just like the bullets don't discriminate of black or white. Like,
No.
we're there to try to make it safer for them and make sure that they feel good about being out there. They deserve that.
Cool.
Again, I don't know what ideas they're gonna select, to which ones they're not, but that's their job, and I've done what I can to try to help guide them, and I will continue to do that if that's what they desire. So
Perfect. And I know that they pay officers like overtime for like policing, additional policing. And Mr. Barham and I talked, and he said that he wants police to start like pulling people over for like no tail light, but like busted sticker. And then he was very specific to say, if they don't have guns or anything, let them go.
Right,
He's like, who cares if they have a busted taillight or a sticker, but they will say that it's being policed after that. How do you feel about that? Because like I'm in a lot of different minds about that, because like I feel like that's
a slippery slope.
Yeah, that is a slippery slope.
I'll start with the extra patrols.
Okay.
We've contracted with the housing authority for as long as I can remember, for those extra patrols where 2 officers go out and are strictly dedicated to the housing authority properties for a 4-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour block. The issue with that, it's super effective when we're there.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost no problems when we're there, but as soon as we leave, the bad guys know when we're there and when we're not. It goes right back to whatever they were doing, prior to us getting there. So it's effective, but it's not the answer. It's not going to solve everything, but it does help. And I also like it more so because it's a great opportunity for, like, I've done them. I get out and I go play basketball with kids in Oakwood, or I go talk to them, hang out with them, just be human. Instead of being that police figure, like, just be a human, interact. Like, we're all in this together. Like, it's all of our city, it's all our community. So for me, I like it because it builds those relationships with the people that live there. And that also is a good way to make them, like, when there are problems, it's a good way to make them feel like they can trust us because they know us. We're not just some random, officer that they've never met or never talked to. So it does have good aspects to it, and I do believe it's important. I just know that a lot of the problems that we're seeing are not when we're there.
Right.
So if we could have deterrents like gates or fencing, I can't tell you how many people I've seen walk in there and then immediately go find their target and shoot them. Okay, like, they don't live there. They don't have any family. They're just coming to do bad. And so for me,
why?
It's
why
like,
are they shooting them?
Well, it's sad. Like, a lot of it's social media. These young guys and gals get disrespected on there, and they get embarrassed, and they don't maybe necessarily have the best coping skills to deal with that, or regulating their emotions, and they turn to violence and anger, and they go do what they do. So for me, I don't think that you should try to put a fence up that makes it feel like it's an institution. I think you can buy nice looking fence. There's a great fence in the backyard here that looks pleasant and looks nice. You could do the same thing for them, but it would help keep.
You don't want it to feel like bars on windows.
No.
That's what we're
not
the
like
vibe we're
separating
going
it
for.
from the rest of the
That's
community.
part of the reason why I think it's so important to ask them: do they want something like that, or do they not? I'm giving the suggestions just based off of the investigations that I've been part of out there and seen how the bad guys, if you will, do their thing, and trying to come up with ideas on how to prevent that. And so we'll see what comes of it. I'm hopeful that they will make some of these ideas a reality and help improve the safety out there.
What about gun education for kids? That's another one that's been pitched to me.
Man,
teaching kids about gun safety, maybe even taking a few of them to the range. Like, As somebody, like, it might surprise some people to know, I'm a very huge firearms enthusiast and advocate.
That surprises me.
Yeah, like, love it. I'm not for the assault rifle ban even. Like, I think a good population would have Kalashnikovs, but not fully automatic ones.
I got you. You might be, honestly, you might be a bigger gun guy than I am.
Yeah,
because I am. Again, I never thought about being a cop. I had never touched a gun until I went to the police academy. So for me, I look at guns as a tool of the job, right?
Exactly.
There are so many guns out there now, right? Like if we have this problem, like maybe educating on the reality of how deadly they can be and
exactly. That's part of gun training.
Yeah, like maybe that's not a bad thing. But again, like no matter what, like if you look in the comment section, there are so many ideas of that people throw out of what we can try to reduce the violence, and I don't think that there's any one answer.
Yeah. No,
like
well,
you could
complex.
take all of those comments and go, you know what? There's some validity to this. There's some value to this, but it's a collective whole. There's not one fix to this to gun violence, and you know Alton is not specific. It's happening nationwide. Like this is a problem.
It's economic conditions driving
Belleville's
things.
had multiple shootings lately.
Yes.
Wood River had, it's just
Wood River had one. That's crazy.
It's it's not specific to Alton, but yes, we definitely have a problem with it. And and again, this is a comment section thing too, but I see a lot of them. And I do agree with this, but I don't think it's the only answer. Is like they say, well, it all starts with parenting. No. But not everybody has good parents.
I had terrible parents, and I turned out decent enough.
Right. It's I mean, I grew up with just my mom, single family, poor. Like going to McDonald's like once every couple of months was like a treat. And so I just, it just depends on it depends on who your parents are and how they are. But what I think that they're saying maybe are where my brain goes is like maybe if we have parents that aren't great, we get them some sort of training and education on how to be a better parent. Oh, that would be awesome. So I love that idea. But again, it's not as simple as just saying, well, it starts with parenting. Well, yeah, an environment is very much a factor in these types of things. But it's not the only thing. No. That's just one small sliver of the
Well, and you
the
guys
pie
do
here.
have resources for parents. I know I was a member of the Bright Point for a lot.
Yeah.
And my caseworker there was amazing. I had reached out and was like, hey, I'm having some issues right now. And we completed their program and she was lovely. And you guys partner with them. I know that.
I actually it's weird that you bring it up because I don't know, 4 hours ago, I just signed the agreement to continue our partnership with them.
Oh, awesome. I love
Literally just put pen to paper.
A lot of my other friends, they're single moms too, and they've struggled with some of their teenagers, and I recommended them, after my experience with them, like they, didn't solve the whole issue, but when we needed them, they were there.
Yeah. So. I've seen them do great things over the years to help with.
But it is. They offer counseling, case management, and resources.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. I think, kind of touching on resources, we have a lot of good things like that in our area, and we do them. We definitely, in my opinion, we need more resources for mental health. Yes. And I can't stand when people like tell me what is wrong with law enforcement when they've never done it. So I don't want to be that person to the mental health field. Right. But I do see things where I'm like, man, that just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Why are we not like reforming that? Because that could really truly help a lot of people. And I just see a lot of things where it's like, we'll take somebody to go get help. They'll want help, but then they're like literally back out 8 hours later. And it's like, well, how much help did we really give them in 8 hours? Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional.
The follow-up care, like hospitals the funding and stuff there are only there.
You and I, we probably know people who aren't necessarily going to follow up with anything. Like that's the reason why they probably are in a condition that they are is because they're not able to take care of themselves. They're not able to follow through with those follow-up appointments, and so it's like Some people just need more care.
Yeah.
And we don't have that option.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating we go back to like the 1950s or 60s where we institutionalize everybody or anything like that.
No, but even home visits where people meet you where you are would be effective, but that would mean a lot more staffing.
It requires it requires more resources, and I think that's where we should really look to try to, everybody talks about homelessness and it's on the rise and drug addiction and they're right, but we also need to look at what's working, what's not working for people that are willing to try to get help with those issues. And some of it, I don't know. I don't have a ton. There are great people in that profession who are, I'm sure, doing great things. I just don't sometimes see that because I see the same people constantly going through that system, and it's like, man,
and I've had experience with Centerstone, and Centerstone is great for what they are, but their therapists, like I ended up going to St. Louis to find my therapist who specialized in what I wanted and paying out of pocket versus going through my insurance and it wasn't anything bad about their therapist, but they're overloaded. I mean, you have people who genuinely want help, and they also have people who are court-ordered to be there, and their client list is a mile long. They don't have, people are quitting that field left and right, and
I know, which sucks.
It's really hard.
It's about to get way worse because the bill passed that's cutting Medicaid, and
I might lose my job. I found out.
I got my finger on the pulse of Centerstone right now, and they have not told me exactly what's up. And so I'm not going to be like, oh, no, they could shut down because I don't actually know. I just know that a lot of the people I know that go there are Medicaid funded. Mm-hmm. And I actually have a very close personal friend who, whenever his Medicaid wasn't doing the job and he had to go to a different person, he had to get an injection. 3 days at the end of the month, it would wear off, and it would be really, really bad to the point where we'd have to keep him in our basement and lock him in for a little bit. Be like, hey, bud, you can't have a computer right now. You're saying some stuff to people that's making them a little edgy. So we're gonna just like keep down here. We're gonna be okay. Everything's cool. We're gonna feed you. We're gonna chill. Man. Everything's great. And then after like 2 or 3 days, he goes and gets his shot. He's perfectly fine. He's freaking out right now because of that. But, that's down the road. We'll worry about that when it gets here. There's enough problems.
A study or a list of nursing homes that are at risk for closing down. And my company as a whole, because of our clients are mostly, not mostly, but at least good 50% are homeless and they're addicts and they're on Medicaid. So if your nursing home is 85% or more Medicaid patients, they're at risk of closing down after everything goes through, which is going to make a lot more homeless people. Yeah,
it goes back. Like now we're going to have less resources.
Yes.
When we need.
Are you guys preparing for that?
I'm kind of playing the wait and see game here. Yeah. But I'm being hopeful that that's not the case. But could it be a reality? Yeah, it very well could. And does the police department have all the answers? No, we don't. But we're really good at helping where we can, and we've been successful at that. And just this week I got an email that we helped somebody who was unhoused, and now they're housed, and I'm like,
hell yeah,
sweet.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So don't know, again, I don't inquire like, well, who is it, or right. I just get the, hey, here's the good news. I'm like, I love it, thank you.
I love that too. All right, so one more question about gun violence. Okay. Is there any gun amnesty programs, like turn in a gun, get like cash or something in return? Because I know so there's an assault rifle ban, but I also know the state's attorney's not really prosecuting that.
Right.
Which, debatable, but a lot of the gun crimes are caused by handguns anyway, correct?
Correct.
Like you don't have people going out there with like M16s, M4s.
No, there's a few ARs that pop up from time to time, but usually nothing more heavy than like a 9mm is the usual. The majority's handguns that we're dealing with.
So do you have any like amnesty programs, or somebody who shouldn't have a gun can bring in their gun, turn it in, and be like?
Yeah, so we don't have any program specifically for that. I do know I don't know when, but I was told that at some point the Alton Police Department did do a program like that where you could bring your guns in and they would maybe give you something. I don't know what they gave them, honestly. I don't know if it was money or gift cards or what.
Right.
Just to turn them in. From what I was told, that there weren't a lot of people that brought them in, and it was more of like somebody's husband passed away, and so now his wife's just bringing it down and turning it in. So it, to me, although I have not tried it ourselves, but I've told in the past it just wasn't very utilized, really. So I've not done that, but I mean, obviously, if someone wants to turn their life around and like, you know what, I don't want to be involved in this gun stuff anymore, they can come turn it in. We're not gonna arrest them for that.
Really?
No.
You wouldn't arrest them? They came in and was like, I shouldn't have this. Take this from me.
If they're there to turn it in, like, that's, I mean, I just, that kind of feels like.
Yeah, that would be a little like shooting fish in a barrel.
Didn't you guys also have a turn in your drugs thing? Do you still have that? I thought.
So we have, yeah. I mean, it's more designed for like prescription pills and things of that nature. But people do throw other drugs in there, and we don't monitor that. Like, that's great. Thanks. Like, that's awesome that you're utilizing what we have out there, and that you're choosing not to continue, using whatever drug it might be. To me, that's like, oh, well, maybe that person's like ready for a new journey. So, I mean, but outside of that, I guess I don't know what I would do, but like I would feel kind of wrong if someone was there to turn their guns in and not illegally possess them anymore, and like to lock them up over that kind of seems like, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it's that amnesty I show you that, hey, you're doing the right thing, so I'm going to do the right thing for you now.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a jerk move, to be honest.
It's kind of the thing. It's like, could I see an officer doing that? Maybe. But I just, I don't.
So ask for you if you're going to turn in the gun.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right, so we got to take a break, but I did want to ask. I know the state's attorney's not prosecuting assault rifle ownership. Is Alton?
So we will always, if it's an illegally possessed firearm, no matter what caliber, whatever, we will always present the case to the state's attorney's office. What they do with it, obviously, is beyond my control. So I do feel like, honestly, like almost every gun case gets, it might not be the charge that we desire, but there is a charge of some, whether it's misdemeanor, felony, whatever. So I don't know, but we always, like, if we stumble on an illegal gun, like, yeah, we're gonna arrest you and we're gonna apply for charges, and whatever comes of it with the state's attorney's office is what we live with. So
I dig that. All right.
But the state's attorney's office does, like, they prosecute a lot of our cases, and a lot of them are gun related, and they do a great job at that. Tom Hain is, he runs a good show over there, and
yeah. I was talking very specifically about legal gun owners who might have a gun that was recently made illegal.
I got you.
Because I know a few of those. I'm not one of those, but I know a few of those.
Oh, there's plenty out there.
There's tons of them. Like, barely anyone registered their assault rifles.
I don't think that, not off the top of my head, do I recall a case like that we've had.
Okay.
So
okay.
I guess
I was just checking in for my gun nuts out there.
Yeah.
That was presented to me by a few people.
That's a good question.
All right, so we're going to take another break, and then we're going to come back. And Nicole, you're going to run this round. Because I sent Nicole and our producer,
I only have
Ryan.
like 2 questions. It's okay.
No, you have way more than that.
We're gonna...
You can also buy a shirt. You can buy some stickers. We have a Patreon that we're adding stuff to. We have bonus rambles on there right now. So really, there's a lot of ways you can give us money to buy new cameras.
And of course, like and share and subscribe the hell out of everything, and tell more people with even more money that we need money.
Oh yeah, like find your rich uncle and be like, rich uncle money bags. These people.
That's actually my retirement plan, is a rich uncle.
Really?
Yeah, like one that I don't know. Like
Like-
that
like-
is
like a
we're in
rich
that
uncle that
economy
died?
that I'm just
Or are
like,
you
have
like-
no retirement fund.
Are you looking like you're going out there to find a rich uncle?
Oh, no. I want him to be family and that he just died and I didn't know about him and he leaves everything to me in his will. If you're out there, please help me and us.
Hey, Nicole's mysterious uncle, give us money, buy a shirt.
Give us money.
All right, so I'm going to turn the reins over to Nicole, who
God.
I actually sent on a secret mission with our producer, Ryan.
Yes.
A lot of things in the news about poor decisions and Hiram's having to argue for their liquor licenses. So I was curious about it. I've been following the page Stand Up Alton. I've been seeing the interviews with CJ Nasello, but I sent them down there because, you know, people know me. They're not gonna let me see a lot of things that they would let these two see.
Right.
So I sent them down there, and Nicole here has some questions
I do.
from her
Okay.
experience.
Okay. So not only the liquor license debate, but there's a greater issue that a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen it, are concerned about the safety downtown.
Sure.
So me and Ryan went out and last Saturday, and you know I've already seen it firsthand because I do like going downtown once in a while and losing at darts. But yeah, it's fun. But I have noticed, you know, what we saw down there was people with open containers dancing on Teslas.
Okay.
A lot of open containers, a lot of people in the street. It was actually hard for me to pull out of my parking space because there was so many people in the street. So we talked to some people, and several bar owners and this bar customers stated was that they feel like there's a reason why the police are not. Like there's something or someone stopping them from actually.
Right. I've heard the same.
Okay, so I guess that's my first question. Is there something or someone stopping you from giving tickets or addressing these issues?
No. The thing that I've heard, I'll just be very honest, is that the mayor has directed the police department not to go down there.
And that is one of the
do
things I've heard.
that. The mayor has never given any directive. That is a complete complete fallacy. He, what I, you know, and I kind of said this at the hearing on Monday, so if you saw that, I apologize. And I don't want to repeat it, but like in 2023, we were having problems, and I convened all the business owners of downtown, and we got together, and I said, hey guys, here's a list of things that I think you guys could help us out with. By, you know, I'm not trying to tell them how to run a business or their bar. I don't do that, but like, here's some suggestions on what I think you guys could do internally that would help us externally. And then I also said, here's what the police department's going to do externally, which was more officers downtown, strictly dedicated down there, addressing the open drinking, the, you know, whatever it might be that we're seeing.
So how would you address that, though? Would it be tickets?
I guess the thing is like we did that in 2023, and for 6 or 7 months, what happened was the problems significantly decreased. We're more than capable of coming down there and doing what we need to do to stop that kind of behavior. Well, the issue is that as soon as we left, what do you think happened? It returned back, and you know, some of the bars did implement some things that helped, and then others did them very temporarily, and then said, it's costing us too much money, we don't want to do that. So it's like, well, you know, and there were things that some of the businesses were doing that contributed to like the open drinking. What the businesses saw was us giving out tickets for that. And then instead of letting them now walk out with a glass, they're just dumping their alcohol into a styrofoam cup. So it's like, you know, are you working with us or are you working against us? Because you're contributing to the problem at this point. So it worked. It'll work again. What I also advocated for in 2023 and again on Monday night and right now is that if you want to help us address this problem, we gotta close earlier. And I don't know if you heard it or not, but like a lot of the people that work at Poor Decisions and Hiram's were at that hearing and spoke, and it's you know, it's their job, and it will cut into their income, and I do sympathize with that. Like I'm not out to hurt businesses or the employees or hurt somebody's pocketbook, but at the same time, it's like, well, we have a greater problem here right now that we at least need to close at 1. And the reason for that is like, okay, one, obviously less time down there, less alcohol consumption means less problems. It means less people getting in their car and driving drunk. It means less accidents. It means less people going home to
You
their...
don't think people are just going to get drunk earlier?
I do think, well, that's the thing is, it's kind of like I said on Monday, is like, well, this isn't going to fix every problem in and of itself. Like, this is one piece of the pie here. The other piece that is going to happen is that you're going to get an increased police presence again, and but it's going to be easier to manage. Okay. If you look, like you were down there and there's large crowds, sometimes there's not very many police. I think people think there's more police officers out there than there really are.
And so how many officers do you have in your department right now? Because that was another thing. People felt like there's not enough officers to man downtown on the weekends.
Well, so right now we have 58. We're budgeted for 64, so we're getting ready to hopefully hire 6
What would be
officers.
an ideal number for downtown for patrols
Well,
to increase safety?
I mean, when we did it in 2023, I had anywhere from 4 to 8 officers on a Friday and Saturday night. And again, like I said, it worked. But the problem is, I told them then, like, this isn't a long-term solution. Like, this is a temporary problem solver, and we're really great at that when we need to be, and we'll do it again. But some of the the more feasible long-term solutions are closing a little earlier. And I mean, St. Charles did it, I don't know, a couple years ago, and they saw way less problems. Now, I think they went a little too far because they closed down at 11.
Oh, that's Grafton closing times.
Yeah, so I'm not advocating for that. I do think that 1 a.m. is enough time for most people to go out and enjoy the evening and have a good time, and then still, call it a night.
Tell that's Alton's coke problem.
Yeah.
I know
Quit
that
staying up
part
so darn
of
late.
the issues that Poor Decisions and Hirams had, and they've spoken about it, they feel targeted because they feel like if it's going to be 1 a.m., it should be 1 a.m. across the board. So
Right. I don't. So I just, it wasn't my decision to just do those 2. I've said it consistently. It's in writing from 2023 when I was with the business owners. Like, I've consistently said 1 a.m. should be the closing time for bars.
And the people we spoke to,
The
they
video,
did make a good point, though. A lot of people have said that both bars have tried to implement safety measures and
that is
metal detectors, increased security,
Yep.
and things like that. But there's only so much they're trying to run a business inside. They can't be policing people outside who are drinking in their cars.
Yeah, they have. Both those establishments have done, a variety of those things that you just mentioned, and I think it has helped a little bit, but the problems still persist, and it's gonna take some more both police action and changes in the time we're closing and a few other things that are going to actually be a long-term solution to this problem. It's fixable.
The thing that I did notice, it wasn't Alton people. It was people from St. Louis, I think, coming across. A lot of people said that.
There's a lot of people. But they come because everything closes at 1 in St. Louis, and so they know they can come here and stay out later. And
I've done that before.
We are a party town.
I'm trying to do things now to put a long-term solution so we can get back to a downtown that's safe, that people want to go to, that can go out and have a good time and party, but do it in a safe, responsible way. Like, it's not.
Some suggestions have been so. What we noticed was that it was kind of treated like a block party, which actually would be kind of cool if there wasn't all the problems that came with getting drunk at a block party to that level,
right?
And the disturbances.
Well,
but what about bracelets? Like almost making it like a block party,
like a French Quarter thing.
Yeah,
somebody brought that up at the hearing on Monday. One of the employees of either Poor Decisions or Hirams, I don't remember which, but and I thought, okay, that will at least help us determine who is a paying customer versus somebody that's just out there, and a lot of times it's hard to know it's hard to know the difference, right? Like, you just walk up on a group of people, you don't know
which bar sells what alcohol. So,
but I look at it like this. This is obviously a problem. It needs addressed. It will be addressed. I need others around me to help me, including my own team. But it's a fixable problem. This isn't something that we can't make right. So I'm
And I'm just gonna ask
yeah,
point blank.
Go ahead.
Do you think sometimes officers might not want to ticket because of paperwork issues?
No, it's definitely not the paperwork.
Okay.
What it is there is a real reward versus risk scenario when you are one officer and you are outnumbered by 25, 50, 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to incite further,
And that is something that people mention.
Yeah,
that
so it's
night
not as though
well,
we're
yes.
like afraid to do our job, because that's not it.
But a little bit afraid to do. I mean, yeah.
Right, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like if we issue that ticket, now this person's pissed off at us, now the crowd becomes pissed off at us, and now it's us versus them, which is really not what we want.
Yeah, it would also cost more money and the tourism
money.
and
yeah, and it looks. I mean, one of the. I don't know that we're going to get to it, but like the militarization of police is not.
Yes.
Yeah, like, which I can speak on that too, but.
Yeah, go ahead, throw it on.
I want to finish downtown because it is so important, and I'm glad that you went.
Yeah, I only have a few more questions. The cameras. I want to know more about the cameras because you guys can see live feeds. So if something's breaking out, if you see something, do you have anyone watching those cameras?
They're very good cameras. Yeah. Like they're HD stuff.
I didn't go cheap on those.
Yeah.
That was Grant.
What happens if you guys? Do you have anyone that watches them regularly, or is it just if something happens?
What it is there's in our what we call our command center, which is where our dispatchers work out of, and then also one of the police supervisors. It's where all our 911 calls come in, non-emergency calls, the police radio. It's a very just a charged room. But then on top of that, you've got 10 of those size TVs on the wall with the cameras of just different locations, one of them being downtown. And so they are monitoring them, but it's not like somebody's watching them 24/7. Okay. Like usually the best use of them that we can do is like if we get a call, let's say out at Oakwood, for example, what we'll do is we'll look up at the dispatchers will look up at the camera, see if they see a fight or see if it looks like there's people running, which usually is an indication that gunshots occur. So they're good. They are good. A lot of times our dispatchers are watching them. And they're like, hey, it looks like you're going to have a fight down at 3rd and Bell. And they're like, all right, we're on it. Okay. And we'll get down there before the fight. So it's to me, it was a super wise investment, like not only from a deterrent standpoint, but also if something does happen, like that shooting or whatever, it helps us investigate that and gives us what we need to go after that suspect. So
yeah, I personally still love downtown. So I guess
me too.
My last question / statement also is that I don't want to see it just Don and Penny's has stated publicly that they close early every night now, and Raging Cajun has closed down. There's not as many people staying out late at night that aren't the young party crowd, and so. I did have it. I did have this question. I did have this.
How are you going to keep it partied up?
Actually, no. What would you say to tourists, though, that are afraid to go down there and to get people to be a little more, wanting to...
Let's separate something real quick. Downtown Alton during the daytime and early evening hours.
It is very different.
Almost no problems. Very safe, no issues. It's really, truly only Friday and Saturdays from, let's just say, 11 to 4 a.m. Okay. And the reason why I think that the 1 a.m. will be helpful is that's 3 less hours of people down there, and people cause problems, right? So just inherently, just in and of that nature by itself, it's going to reduce the problems there downtown. It's going to create, and a lot of it is the perception of downtown and how it's viewed as unsafe at those times.
Yeah, so what would you say to a tourist if they were like, "Oh, I'm scared to go downtown"? How would you hype up downtown Alton?
Oh, I love Alton. Like I'm not gonna tell them not to come. What I'll say is this: what I think would be really cool is let's do some of these things that we just talked about and see what you observed last weekend. And then let's have you go down there a few months from now and see if there's a difference. And I believe that there will be. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect. We're never going to solve every problem. There's going to be drunk people that fight each other at any bar, right? Yeah. But I think that you'll see a better, safer downtown. And I think that I'll feel a lot better telling tourists at that time that
Okay.
come on in.
Fair enough.
And you know, we do have great businesses down there. We got they've got great owners, great staff. Like, those are good people, and like, I don't want to hurt them in any way, but I also have a bigger picture to worry about, which is the overall safety of
So would you
downtown.
champion, though, to make it across the board?
For the 1 a.m.? Yeah, because, and it kind of goes back to the thing that you mentioned, is I don't want to single anybody out. I did that hearing because it's, you know, my job and I was asked to do it. But if it would have been me, I would have gone the let's do it across the board route. And I'm not even saying it has to be permanent, but let's see if it helps.
Yep.
You know, sometimes you got to throw stuff at the wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things. Like, let's give it a shot. It can't hurt us to see if it works, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen and read other studies and from other cities, and I think we're onto something with it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so let's circle back
Militarization?
to the militarization of police, because
Yes.
we covered some SWAT raids. Ryan
I know.
actually covered one of those.
I heard.
And I heard there was a drone that entered a house with tear gas. Like,
Yeah.
that's some Philip K. Dick dystopian shit.
Right.
So that gives me the willies, I'm not going to lie. But also, everybody came out alive.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who's a Calhoun deputy, and we
Okay.
chat about it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
I chatted to him about it, and he's
I
like,
am a believer that when we bring in those types of vehicles and those types of equipment, that there's a big crowd watching, and
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a good look that you want in your neighborhood.
no.
Right? But I also know that when we do use those tools, one, I'm the one that's given the authorization to do so. So I always weigh it versus, you know, like a risk versus reward. Like, and if it can help keep not only my officers safe, but also the people we're dealing with, whether that's a victim inside a house, suspect, whatever it might be, I'm gonna opt to go that safer route. Because and the one that you covered is a great example. Is we knew that person was inside. We didn't know where, we didn't know how armed, and rather than send an officer in there and force a potential lethal, you know, situation where we're either getting shot or we're shooting them or both, it's we've got these tools to use. And so, yeah, I mean, we did break a window and we did shoot some tear gas in there, and in an attempt to get them to come out so we don't have to go in there and have that encounter. And the drone, so I was not a fan of the drone program when it first started a few years ago. I thought, it's a bunch of nerdy cops doing their toys or whatever. But I've actually seen, I've had a complete change of heart. I believe in it now. I've seen it save shootings of my officers, and I've seen it save us not have to use force against someone.
Are nerds that bad?
No, they're not. Like, I'm admitting I was wrong.
Yeah.
The nerds were right.
Okay.
I've seen them locate missing children. I've seen them locate, deceased subjects in the woods. I've seen them, when somebody's hiding from us and running from us, it's easy to track them that way versus sending my officers in to potentially like an ambush. Why wouldn't we opt to use less force or have less force used against us? So going back to the incident that you covered is, we did send the drone in there because we wanted to see where this guy was, if we could, and if he was armed. So it worked to a degree, but we still at some point had to go in there and do what was needed, and we did. We arrested him. He was armed, and if we would have forced our way in there immediately, who knows what he would have decided. Sometimes, given that person that's inside who's scared, they're scared. They know the police are after them, and they're like, "Oh crap! Like, what do I do?" Sometimes giving them a little bit of time to like relax a little and get out of that huge like adrenaline rush helps them think better. So then they're not as apt to use force against us. So
Have you ever had anyone like on TV like demand like a plane and money, just because like that's
no.
what I picture negotiations as.
Right, and we did try that too. We had a negotiator there.
So you do have a negotiator then?
Yeah, we've got a couple of trained negotiators on the police department, and they do. I mean, you see them most of the time up on the bridge.
They never give planes.
Yeah, nobody's asked for a plane, thankfully. And honestly, you know, one of the things that they tell you in negotiating is you don't like promise something you can't make happen. So I'm clearly not going to tell someone I can get them a plane when I'm not going to be able to get them a plane. Like, it's going to ruin any trust that we would be able to have there. Very so, but yeah, so I'm very, very conscientious about what image that creates, and I don't believe that it should be used. Those tools should be used often, but they do have a place in society, and then that place is truly to make it safer for whoever might be involved in those incidents and for us. Because I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to be shot, and I know my officers feel the same way. But it's a reality of the job, but if we can reduce the possibility of it, why the hell wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a reporter for years, too many years. I mean, since 2011. And one thing I've noticed is there's less SWAT raids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's far less now.
There's not as many as there used to be. And, like, it makes the ones that happen, like, shine a little more. It does.
It gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I know that when I get the phone call and they say, hey, here's what we got. Here's, we're looking to do this. I know it's going to create a lot of show, and then there's probably going to be media and it comes down to, is it worth someone being more safe? Is this the route to go? And for me, on that incident, and then there was another one, up off of Washington, those it was the right call.
Yeah,
it ended exactly how you want it to end, with nobody hurt. And
that was a DV one. That one could have gone crossways.
Yeah. That was a wild one too. And it's like, at the end of the day, could something bad happen at those types of scenes? Yeah, that's why we have those sort of tools and resources in the SWAT team that we do. But they're really good at getting a peaceful resolution a lot of the times.
Good.
So, and I know somebody say, well, breaking somebody's window and shooting tear gas isn't peaceful.
Nobody died.
I recognize that.
More peaceful than a gun.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of the balance that you got to have in your arsenal there, is like, it's a little tear gas is better than having to shoot somebody or be shot at. So,
I mean, that does bring me to my next thing. ICE. Speaking of tear gas, militarization.
Yes.
I mean, you guys don't show up masked up in plain clothes throwing people in a car.
No.
Let's say that ICE raids around here. Like, I don't know if they have yet. Like, what is the Alton Police's role in that? And what would your personal role in that be? Because I know in Illinois, J.B. Pritzker has that whole thing where it's like, don't work with them unless they make you.
Right. So... I'll start with the fact that I have not seen any ICE agents in Alton.
Yeah. I'm sure we'd have heard about it.
Yeah, I'm sure we would have all heard about it. So I haven't. Doesn't mean that they couldn't show up. I mean, they can go anywhere in the country, right?
Unfortunately,
but they have not been into Alton. Like you mentioned with the governor, that pretty much gives me the answer to your question: is would we assist them? There's a law in place that says that we, like on a civil detainer type thing, like we can't assist them on those things, which, okay, fine. If that's the law, that's what we'll go by. Cool. So for us, it's easy. Mm-hmm. Now I will say this, if let's say, for example, we have somebody who's, I don't know the right term. I hate saying the wrong, like
undocumented.
Let's say undocumented. And they commit a shooting in Alton, and are we going to arrest them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Will ICE on a criminal matter like that get notified? Yeah, they're probably going to hear about it.
I mean, that's an exception, though.
Yeah, okay. So I just want to clarify the difference. Yeah, we're not just going to overlook an undocumented person doing horrific crimes in our community.
Right. Horrific crimes are horrific crimes.
Yeah, we're going to address that. In fact, this is an interesting thing is we had a case, I don't even remember what year we discovered, maybe 2010, where a pretty decomposed body was located in a trunk of a car. And
I remember that.
It took us, I believe, 10 years to get it solved. But the reason why I bring it up is that the victim was actually undocumented, and the suspect was as well. So we have had crimes in Alton, you know, bad stuff like happen with undocumented persons. But the cool thing on that case was that it made it really difficult to figure out who our victim even was, because we're just dealing at that point with basically a set of just bones, human remains there. So we had to go to Spain and Honduras to get DNA samples from what we thought was our victim's family.
Wow.
So we did that. That was how we were able to confirm that our person that we
physically went there.
Yeah, you can't testify. Like, let's say that we would have just asked them to swab their cheek and then put it in a thing and then mail it.
Could have been anybody.
Yeah, like there's no chain of custody there and it's evidence. So yeah, we had to I had to fly my detective.
Did you go out?
You know what? I didn't, but I should have.
Yeah.
Get some
paella. Well, I was
the bright side.
The chief of detectives at the time, and I didn't want to be that boss that like took the cool opportunity. So I was like, "You guys, this is your case. You're working it. You guys deserve this."
Did they get a little fun there while they were there?
Oh yeah,
okay,
they made
cool.
it. They made
cool,
especially Spain.
Yeah,
Honduras was not fun though.
No, Honduras is not fun.
When they were there was I don't really know, but like there was like almost like a mini civil war.
Yeah, the coup that Hillary Clinton helped start a state
and a tsunami at the same time.
Yep, I know exactly the time period you're talking about.
Yeah, so they were there when all that was going down, and I was like, oh gosh, I'd never even thought about sending them there in that kind of environment.
Our government loves doing coups in foreign nations.
Yeah,
no matter if there's an R or a D in front of them. They love doing coups in Central America. It's just like the American
Somebody
way.
described it the other day of like whether you're R or D, it's still the same puppet pulling the strings.
Constantly.
And I was like, that's a good description there.
Yep, they're all on the Epstein list. Oh, which brings me to my next question. Do you think that dude killed himself? I mean, you're a cop.
Yeah, I mean... Gosh, what a can of worms.
Really put you on the spot with that one.
I'll be honest.
This
is just my person. This has no.
This is not attached to the Alton Police Department.
Yeah,
this is Jarrett Ford as a man.
This is me as a person.
Yes.
I do think that he committed suicide.
Interesting.
But I cannot understand how there's allegedly thousands, if not tens of thousands, hours of video of child pornography, and there's not somebody else in prison over it.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, besides her is what I'm getting at. You can't tell me that it was just her and Epstein.
Like, who are the clients? Like,
who are the clients?
Who's doing
and I think it's really a bad thing. Like I saw like basically Trump say that he, you know, like, don't worry about that. It's not that big a deal. Are we still talking about it?
He lashed out to his voters.
But it's like, yeah, man, like the average people are concerned about that. Like, we all, the one thing that I think is so cool that we all agree on is like child pornography is wrong.
Yeah, child abuse is fucked up.
Like, there's not anybody out there that's like, oh, no, that's cool. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no, there are.
Well, I hope not.
No, they're
okay, let's say this. There's always going to be some people, but the majority of us, there's like almost no other topic where a huge majority like that actually agrees that this is horrific.
This is the left and right uniting. We're like, wait, no, we all hate this guy.
Yeah, it would be beautiful if it wasn't so messed up.
Like maybe it's not important to him right now because he's got all these other things he's dealing with. I don't know. But to all of us, we're like, no, bro, like we need to talk about this and we want to know the truth.
Why are you hiding it, man? I mean,
like
I know, like
don't. I mean, it's a bad look. People want to know, and honestly, like I get that you can't release the videos and all that. No one
wants to see that.
But it's like somebody was in those videos. Like you don't have a victim without a suspect.
Like I don't want to see Bill Clinton banging a kid.
Right? No, I mean it
probably exists out there.
It does it? I don't know.
So I watch Criminal Minds too.
Oh shit!
No, this made me think of that because there was in the recent season, and spoiler alert, I'm about to give away, but. So Voight's followers had a suicide pact. So what if, like, he killed himself not because he was like, oh my God, I did something wrong, but because, like, he knew that he was going to get killed anyway.
Yeah.
And
I just don't think he wanted to be in prison his whole life. And
I don't even think he's dead.
And you really say, oh man,
I
you're
think
way
it was
out there. I like it.
I go back and forth with
I think
that.
it was a fake body, and I think the Mossad got him. But we do have to take one last break, and then we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. One last break.
You know how many people hate watch us?
Enough to write my fucking name on a billboard and call me a pedophile with an F. That's a lot. That's a lot of hate, dog. There's a $500 bounty for whoever did that, and I will pay you in cash.
He means it. Come on.
Yeah, I 1000% mean it. If you have information leading to an arrest of whoever did that, $500 from me. I'll take it out of my own account and be like, well, shit, you did it. Good job, Scooby-Doo.
Which also gets in the way of us buying cameras. So then you got to now give him more money because he is paying money.
Oh, no. See, that's out of my dead pedophile dad money.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's my
Never mind.
secret.
But still,
yeah.
Tell them that.
Okay, well, Missy will edit that part out. We're back. We took a final break. This is one extra break. Like, this is a good interview. Like, we've been having a great time. But we do have to call it. We do have to call a conclusion, and we're gonna leave the floor to you. What can we as Altonians do to make our communities safer, to make them better, and to, I don't know, educate ourselves more on the police? Like, I've gone on a ride along or two, and that was eye-opening.
Man, something best way to come see what we actually do.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, well, just so you know, the ride along program is still available to literally anybody that wants to come do it. I wouldn't push this, but like I'm a big believer that kind of like we do with certain classes in high school, like we should have kids come ride along, like 16, 17, 18-year-olds come see what the police actually do. Because I do feel like there's a lot of misconception of what we're really out there doing. There's no better way to see it than sitting literally in the passenger seat next to an officer. And it's, like a lot of, we take some obviously measures to try to keep you safe. I also think this, I've seen a huge decrease in the interest in law enforcement as a career.
I mean, yeah.
Again, going back to what I said earlier, like some of it is self-inflicted wounds, and we've done dumb stuff on a national scale that really didn't reflect well on that as a profession. But as I said, like I know what we here in Alton are doing, and I know that what we're doing on a day-to-day basis is good, and it is helping, and it is it's needed. Honestly, I can't imagine this city or society without a good police department. And again, I'm biased. I'm clearly there. I've worked there 20 years. I love the police department. I love the men and women that work there. But I do believe even 10 years from now when I'm retired and sitting at home, like if they continue what they're doing right now, I know that the city's in good hands. And
wait, you get to retire in 10 years?
I sure hope so.
Jesus. you're like what, late 30s, early 40s?
I'm 43.
Early 40s.
Yeah.
Well, you get to retire at 53. That should be enough to get somebody to be like, I want to be a cop. I can retire at 53.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and, since I have this opportunity, anybody that's out there that is interested in it, come ride along with us and see. I guarantee within 4 hours, you are going to know if this is for you or not. Just like I did when I had my first 30 minutes on the job. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is it. You're going to know. So if it's even something you're remotely considering, come check it out, and you'll know. You will know. I guarantee it. And it's also one of these things where like you walk in the door with no experience right now, you're making a decent living. Like you walk in the door with no experience, day one, $75,000 roughly, right?
You make me wish I could pass a drug test right now.
There's not. There's not a lot of. There's good jobs out there that pay more than that, and
where?
Well, maybe not right here, right now, but
be a nurse.
Yeah,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Nurses don't always have it easy. They deal with some.
We deal with the police on a very regular basis. Actually, we're always calling you guys.
Yeah.
So what kind of patrol cars you got rolling right now?
They're Ford Explorers.
Oh, you get an old Crown Vic, like.
Oh man, those were the best.
I
back in
have
the
an old
day.
Crown
They
Vic.
are
That old
so
Crown
cool.
Vic outside,
Dude,
that
I love
89,
it.
that's mine.
There's no better car to
No,
drive than
they're
that thing.
so comfy. They're
Still
so quick. They're just
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get an old Crown Vic out there, you might
Oh,
get me.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we can do here. But yeah, like it's 75,000 isn't I mean that's a pretty good salary, full benefits, tons of time off. Like the craziest thing about this job is the amount of time off that you actually.
You guys have
do
psyche
get.
evals though, right?
We do. We do.
Okay.
Nicole.
I'm just saying, not everyone's
Yeah,
going to be like
not
75 grand. Come on, and they're jerks. We don't want jerk police. We want good,
Yeah.
balanced officers who like therapy
And community.
and
yeah,
community.
like very community
So
minded.
yeah, only
Well,
apply if you're.
Yeah.
And like what sets Alton apart?
That's the kind of
Yeah.
thing you actually asked something earlier, and I didn't really elaborate on it. But you said like, what are we doing to hold our own selves accountable? The coolest part about my job is I do have a lot of say in who my teammates become, and who no longer needs to be one of my teammates. So I have, there's been people over the last 2.5 years as chief where they, most of them made mistakes and they deserve to be fired. And for me, I don't like firing people. I try to be a nice guy, but like there's a time and a place for it. But there's also a time and a place in leadership where you can't always be the nice guy. And those people that no longer work there, rightfully so. And I look back now and I'm like, hell yeah, that was the right decision. Like they needed to go. They were not good for this department. They were not good for their fellow officers. They weren't good for the community. And
Have you ever gotten backlash from fellow officers about firing somebody?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
Not yet. And that also kind of makes me feel like I've been making good decisions because they're not revolting. They're not like, oh, you're firing my buddy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, we understand. You got to do what you got to do.
So what makes Alton different than other departments? Because like I'm not going to call anyone out, but like not every department is Alton.
Yeah. I got, I can't say anything, but I have a really, really good group of people around me. They are like, if I, you said, oh, you get to retire in 10 years. If I retired tomorrow, they wouldn't blink an eye. They're that good. Like anyone can come in and fill my shoes. They might not agree with that. They'll go, oh, you're just being nice. No, they're fully capable of being great chiefs, assistant chiefs. And the coolest thing about it is like, there's 10 people just going through my brain right now where I'm like, I would trust them with this department. They could run it well. They would continue the progress that we've made. And I do think that, like, kind of you said earlier, you've had a pretty good experience. Like, we're not always just that asshole cop
There's
anymore.
Been a lot of officers who were very sensitive and understanding.
Like, and I'm super proud of that they are so professional and so compassionate and they're there to help. So for me, if anybody's here listening and that is you and you want to come join that good team, I will take you and we will make sure that you are, trained well and an asset to the community for sure. Kind of like me, like I'll take the good mold and I'll mold it to what I need it to be from there. So.
Interesting. I mean,
now we're talking pottery.
Yeah, like, that was our last one. Yeah. I mean, I still have reservations about the institution of policing, especially with like its history and like the way that class dynamics work and the protection of property over people. Like these are all real tangible issues that but I don't feel it as much in Alton as I do as a national issue. Like nationally, I don't really like police, but like in Alton, I don't have that. I don't have that same like hackles up. I'm like, oh, it's an Alton cop. Like I've had to deal with cops a few times, like not even just as a reporter, just as a guy. And I'm like, wait a second, that was really cool of you. Hold on a second. You just did that. That's not what I expected. And
like I definitely get like Wood, Hyde, and Frank vibes from him.
I mean, he doesn't have to say that.
No, but no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying I'm offering that. He can just stay silent, but that's the vibe.
Yeah, like I don't feel like you'd send somebody to a concentration.
Yeah, I don't
camp.
think. Yeah, like.
And I don't.
I think we're setting the bar really low.
Unfortunately, the bar is in hell.
Yeah, I was
man.
gonna say the bar is low.
The law
unfortunately.
enforcement for like
Okay.
the American person
Yeah.
is in hell.
Well,
Like
there's
not.
there's there's a lot of truth to what you said is like, and I've touched on it. Like we've done some really dumb shit.
Yeah. So let's say somebody want to do the ride along. How would they get a hold of y'all to do that?
So it's a fairly simple process. All you have to do is email me or you can call me, whatever you want to do, and just say, hey, like I'm interested in doing that. We'll find a date and time that works for your schedule, and we'll schedule it and get you. You just got to show up.
You got to sign a waiver too.
You do have yeah, that's true. There's a waiver that says,
Yep.
hey, this is a dangerous business.
Yep.
There's a potential for harm here. We're obviously going to do everything we can to keep you safe, but bullets don't have eyes.
Yep.
So
Don't ghost the police. Show up.
I mean,
well, some people do ghost us, and that's okay. There's a lot of people have reservations about the police, and
yeah, for good
and
reason.
some good, yeah, like there's a lot of good reasons that they have for those feelings. I just know that like what my department's doing, and it doesn't make me feel like we're giving the over. Like I feel like we're pretty welcoming, and I feel like we're humans, and like we're able to relate on just that level. It's a job, it's a badge, it's a uniform, but like underneath all that is just a human, just like we're interacting with in any situation. So I know it has that
vibe.
Yeah, like I get that, and let's be honest, when I'm driving and I get pulled over, I still get nervous, and I'm like, why the hell am I nervous? but I get that, like it's just a human reaction when law enforcement is around.
Absolutely.
So all I would say is if you're interested, come do it. And even if you're not interested in it as a career, I think that as a citizen, you can get a better understanding of how police work, how many are out there, what are we doing on a day-to-day basis. It's just like it's almost like a civic education. Like it's so cool. Come see what the police are doing in your community.
I think they should do that with so many city positions.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
I will say before the ride along, make sure your phone is charged because you cannot plug your USB cord into the cop car.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I learned that. I also got to see a dead body on mine.
Nice.
I don't think that happens with all of them.
No.
It was horrifying. But
Well, that's
it was
one thing you
wild.
got to keep in mind too. Is like you may see some things.
Yeah, you might see a dead body
that are not a normal day-to-day thing that people are used to dealing with. So I throw that caution out there too. Is like just kind of understand that there's that's what we do. Like there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of bad things that we see.
Yeah.
So if I'm not trying to scare anybody away.
No,
but
no,
I just want
it's-
to be realistic
Yeah.
about it. That
Well, and also if they see those things, I think it's more of a testament to, like, you guys see that stuff every day.
Yep.
So.
yeah.
And that's just one time they're seeing that.
Yeah.
All right.
You build
so
up that scar tissue of seeing this. Yeah, you
yeah,
have touched on
reporter
that,
stuff.
like,
Yeah, I used to cover the dead kid beat and the drug epidemic.
Yeah, it's
the fun
horrible.
shit.
yeah.
But
It wears on you.
Since we've covered so much horrifying traumatic
Yeah.
issues, let's end on a fun note. What is
All
the
right.
silliest crime you've ever seen in Alton?
Honestly, it was 20 years ago, but I remember it very, very well. I was just fresh out of training, but not even to the point where they would let me fully go by myself to a call. That somebody else would be in a different car, experienced officer, and they would show up to make sure I'm doing it right. That's how new I still was. Well, we got this call. It was probably around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning from this lady, and she's like, "Hey, there's a guy. I think he's passed out in my front yard, and like I don't know him. I don't know why he's here. Can you guys come?" So I get there. It's very clear that this gentleman is intoxicated, and he just ended up in this person's yard somehow. But I noticed that he had I think tried to use a bird bath for balance, and it sent him over. And then the circular bird bath ended up like laying on his leg while he was passed out. So I helped, I moved the bird bath off his leg, and he's real slow to get up, and he's like, he's kind of giving me the business about how I'm an asshole for waking him up. And
You did disturb the man.
I did.
Yeah,
I
he
did.
was sleeping under a bird
Yeah.
bath. We've all been there.
And I acknowledge that. Like,
Who hasn't fallen asleep in
yeah,
the
I've
yard?
fallen asleep
So-
under some stuff.
yeah. So I'm just trying to just do my thing. Like, ended up he had a warrant for his arrest.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey man, you're not in any trouble for being drunk or in our yard or anything like that, but you do have a warrant that we need to take care of, and I'm going to place you under arrest. So no problems there. But as soon as I escort him to the car, he doesn't want to get into the car. He just refuses to get in. Like, he's calling me every name in the book. We assist him into the back seat of the car, but he won't put his legs in so we can close the door. So I'm not going to name names, but the officer that I was with took out his taser and took out the cartridge. And basically when you do that, it doesn't shoot the probes into somebody, but you can still press it on them and it'll give them a little bit of a shock. And obviously he's doing that so he'll pull his legs in so we can shut the door and go. So he does that, but it doesn't, like the guy doesn't flinch at all. And I'm thinking to myself,
adrenaline.
Like, how drunk is this guy that he can't feel a taser on his leg? Because you have to use a taser, you have to be tased. So I know what it feels like to have this done. And so he did it again to his leg, and the guy doesn't flinch at all. And when we're both looking at each other, like, how is this even possible? Like, he's this drunk that he can't feel a taser. We ended up getting him into the car. When I got him to the jail, he now won't get out of the car. So we eventually get him out. And what I realized at that point, when I was like, I had a hold of his legs. And what I realized at that point was that he didn't feel that taser because he had a fake leg.
I was about to say that. I solved that. I knew that like halfway through the story. I was like, oh my God, he's going to have a fake leg.
Yeah. And so you look back on it, you're like, well, yeah, of course he didn't feel the bird bath on his leg. And of course he didn't feel the taser. And it's like, but like, it's just funny to me. It's like, how did I not see that and see that coming? And so it's not a crazy story by any means, but it's
That's pretty crazy.
A little bit comical, and
yeah.
He did not find it funny, but looking back on it, I still laugh and think I should have known.
You thought he was superhuman.
I did. I thought, wow, I don't know what you drank or how much, but it must have been really good.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have enough in the can right now. Thanks for your time. That was crazy.
Thank
that
you
was
so
a
much
really
for
good
coming.
interview.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And yeah, going ride-alongs. I genuinely like. It's one of the things that did open my eyes to a lot of things because I'm very left of center, very ACAB, very fuck the police.
Right.
I live in that world and I'm fine with that world. But
go on ride-alongs, but keep police accountable and ask
like hold cops accountable, but
totally
it's
good with that.
One thing I've learned is it's really hard to hold somebody accountable if you don't understand what you're saying. Like you have to understand the job. You have to understand like holding cops accountable. Oh man, we didn't even get to the fucking Safety Act, but
I got time if you want.
No,
I cleared my whole evening just because I didn't know how long
I don't have time.
Gosh, I like the Safety Act too. I wanted to touch on it.
Okay, no. You know what? I'll text my wife. Okay,
no, you're fine. If you gotta go, let's go.
Okay. But the thing is, it's like people don't understand what cops do, and then they are like, "Well, you should do this," and it's like, you know what? You would have a point if you knew why they did the first thing, and so part of the thing I wanted to do, especially after Ferguson, because my old editor, like that's where he got his stripes and like that's where he taught me. Like that was my proving ground for journalism. And I was like, what's going on here? Because I didn't think a lot of that was handled well. And I think that it drove me to want to learn more about policing. So I knew what to critique. Like I'm like, I don't like this. What don't I like? What could be different? And I'm like, I need to learn about it.
It's kind of the example I always use is like, when I go to the hospital and I'm dealing with nurses or doctors, I don't know their job.
Yeah.
But I might think I know how they could do something better or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't do that job. I don't have that knowledge. So why the hell would I speak?
Well, and just like us,
that?
there's so many times where we have our own set of rules that we have to play by in order to. And patients get mad.
And that's where getting to know the police and doing the ride-alongs, that's where that is helpful because you do start to go, oh, okay, that's why they do it. Or that's why they do this or this way.
Yep.
And you do have a better, even if you don't agree with it, you still at least have a better understanding of why we're doing something the way that we are.
I mean, the best haters are educated haters.
No doubt.
Like if you're going to hate on something, learn about it and then hate it.
I love when somebody that is actually educated like hates on me. I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. You got it. You got me.
Yeah, I feel
Good
the
job.
exact same way. Because like the media is up again. We've self-inflicted so much shit. We've become this model of attention seeking instead of this model of like drawing attention to the right things. Like our whole goal is to solve the world's problems in our own backyard. And that's why I'm having conversations like this, because this is not what I got to do at the Telegraph. This is not what I got to do at Riverbender. This is my own goal of, I love Alton. And eventually I want to help the surrounding area too. But like, this is my own backyard, and I want to solve the world's problems here.
We got a lot of things to address here.
Yeah,
we
it's
talked
busy
a lot
work.
about crime, but it's so not that simple. Like,
No, there's poverty.
Like crime is poverty, like,
And that leads to crime.
jobs, and you dang right
Also
it does.
leads to crime.
Yeah, so I when people say like, well, what are we going to do to address crime? It's like, well, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
Because this is a huge
National issue.
national thing, and it's like there's so many other things that affect crime and why it's happening that if we addressed some of those, crime probably is going to improve. Like it's going to be decreasing if you give people education, good paying jobs, and so like those.
Best we can do is cut Medicaid.
Well, let's
Hey,
hope.
but we could have a concentration camp. I mean, there's alligator Alcatraz.
You're
What would
gonna cut that
Illinois
out,
have?
aren't you?
yeah.
The prairie prison.
I don't want any alligators here.
I don't.
I mean, I don't want any concentration camps.
Well, that too.
Yeah, well, we don't want any of
I'm
it.
fine with alligators. All right. Well, I think that's enough.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
That was cool. I like that.
Good deal.
Oh.